What is up? It is the Fantasy Endgame, and we are drafting, and it feels so good. We're back. 2023 hasn't been here long, and you know it doesn't matter. We're ready. We're ready to mock Chris. It feels like it's been too long since we've actually got to draft.
It definitely feels like it's been too long, but I'm ready. Ready for 2023. I'm ready for the sleeper. It's always fun this time of year because the sleeper ADP makes no sense, and people are going to be like, "Oh, I forgot about him. Oh, I forgot about him." So this should be fun. It should be fun.
I mean, it makes sense if you imagine that you're drafting for last year, and this was pre-draft rankings for the previous season. But look, this is where we separate the champs from the chumps. If you know who you're looking for and you know where to find the value, then you don't care about some rankings or some ADP, right? You know where to look. This also helps us kind of like, what is it, sharpen the saw or sharpen the sword to get ready for next year. We're going to be doing this. I think we can I safely say we're going to do this every week until the season starts?
Yeah, every week, maybe even multiple times a week. We'll see. We're definitely gonna be doing a bunch of these. So we got some comments here. Young Money saying his okay. We got the BK. We got the BK going in the chat. All right, we ready? We ready to get this thing going?
Yeah, look, let's do it. And look, also, let me just say before we get started, because I know everyone's feeling a draft. Yeah, I know Michael saying, like, how do I get in one? Look, we were going to put this out there for everybody watching, try to get a chance, have some new people join. It filled up in about 0.8 seconds just from our Discord. So we're going to have to do some of these multiple drafts. And maybe next time we'll alternate. We can do some where it's non-Discord members and then vice versa. Yeah, you're going to have to kind of be on standby. Young Money was ready. Young Money was asking today, we're going to draft. Or I think it was yesterday he's asking. He's been ready. So Young Money was with us all last offseason. So let's do it. No further ado. Let's get to the draft. I graciously gave myself the number 3 spot. I'm not gonna, be hard on myself this very first one. Chris, you went 10. Is that for a reason?
Keith. I just went 10. You took the 3, so I figured I'll take the other end here. I'll take 10. Should be interesting.
All right. And here we go. What did I tell you I'm going to do in almost every draft this year?
Zero RB.
There it is. I'm going receiver, not running back.
Yeah, Jamar Chase, that's a good pick there. I see Ale first draft of the year really tested himself at the 101. Right? Really challenging himself there.
Yeah, no kidding.
Clapping cheeks with the Cooper Cup.
Is it just me or did Sleeper have some different sound effects?
Yeah, they did. They updated their sound effects. Yeah, Michael, I'm not too sure about that one. We'll see. It does get spicy sometimes. You never know. But yeah, Sleeper has updated their sound effects. I don't know. Hopefully, I don't get too many wows picks here like last year. I was the king of the wow
get all
picks.
Wows, you know that.
Woo, CeeDee Lamb. I thought I was high on CeeDee Lamb.
Man, well, you knew that Cheeks wasn't going to take him. Man, look, Lamb has proven in that playoff game didn't do anything else to discourage people from thinking he's an elite wideout. I mean, I wouldn't take him over Tyreek Hill, but still, he's a first-round pick, I think, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, last year he was like an early second, and I thought that was great value.
Here you go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm debating. I'm debating between Adams or you know what? Maybe. I'm gonna go with Travis Kelce here. Not
a bad pick. Probably the receivers you're looking at. You're going to get somebody on the way back.
Yeah, I was debating. It was between AJ Brown and Adams. So we'll see who I can get back. I'm sure I still like the receivers on the board. I think I can still get a good receiver on the way back.
Look, we did say it,
So,
right?
I mean-
Who goes number one? I mean, Kelsey's not worth the 1-1, but he is a first-round pick and get to the end there.
Yeah, I'm fine with him there. No guarantee he would make it back to me. And like I said, there's still a lot of receivers here I like. And you know what? I was debating between AJ Brown and
But
Devontae
Mordor
Adams.
thinks that you should stack.
Bunch of Mahomes haters.
Mordor thinks you should have stacked Mahomes. See, you still got Adams. That's not fair, really.
I don't know. Still got Adams there. Obviously, some question marks with the quarterback play, but I guess we saw it didn't really matter. He was still good, even with Jarrett Stidham.
I think he's proven he's quarterback proof. I really don't think it matters. I don't care who's going to be quarterback for the Raiders. If Devontae Adams there, he's the first rounder. What do you think about this? Bijan first RB off the board. I mean,
Look,
I think he's going to be a stud, but I don't know if I'd take him first.
yeah, I'm not going to take him over guys like CMC or that, but he's definitely going to be at least in my top 10. At least in my top 10. I mean, yeah, at least. If he lands in like an okay spot, he's in my top 10. If he lands in a smash spot, he might be in my top 5, honestly.
All right.
Also, David Price looking jacked, dude. Good job. Good job, buddy. You know I respect that.
No kidding. All right. So a couple of surprises. I think some running backs going a little earlier than I thought. Well, first of all, Saquon fell too low, but Brian Robinson, second round. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think I'm taking Bijan over. I'm definitely not taking Ramondre Stevenson over that early. That seems too early to me. Unless maybe like Damian Harris is gone and they don't do anything at running back, then maybe that'll make sense. I think Barkley Bijan might be close for me. Obviously, there is some question marks about Barkley going into next year. Will the Giants re-sign him? I mean, probably, but
he's also a guy I don't know how much it matters where he really is.
True.
You know. All right, so I'm gonna go with a guy I also don't think I'm not too worried, even if Tom Brady retires or leaves. I think Godwin's still a stud.
Yeah, Isaac saying even with Stidham, Devontae Adams is a boss. Yeah, I mean there's reason to be a little bit worried. He's going to be 31. We don't know the quarterback situation, but he's a stud. I'll gladly take him there.
Yeah, he's a stud, period.
I don't see the Bengals not having Higgins next year. I'm pretty sure, isn't he under contract next year? I thought he had one more year on his rookie deal. Also,
I don't remember Higgins.
You got this nucleus of Burrow. Yeah, and you got this nucleus of Burrow, Chase, and Higgins. I mean, they're going to do whatever they can do to keep that together. That's just a cheat code of an offense right there.
Someone's going to time out. Ale. What's up, Ale? There. Okay.
Who is that there he just took? That Mike Williams?
Mike Williams.
Mike Williams kind of interesting because I'm hearing some of the Chargers beat writers, and obviously it's a lot of speculation, but I'm hearing that they might try to move Keenan Allen this offseason and, draft a young wide receiver. They do need, Josh Palmer, he's fine for what he is, but he's not that guy. Keenan getting up there in age. You still got Herbert. He's young. That's definitely something that I guess some of the Chargers beat writers thinks could happen.
You never know. I mean, going to be some shakeup. All right, look, I don't know, maybe it's not 0 RB, but I didn't go RB in the first 2 rounds. I cannot let Derrick Henry fall any
No,
farther.
even
I can't.
that's even look, even by my standards, that's crazy. Derrick Henry in the 3rd round, like what? That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I think at this point, the only risk with Derrick Henry is that he you know gets hurt, right? Like if he stays healthy, we know what he can do.
He was healthy all this season. I mean, sure, it might happen eventually, but it could happen to any other running back too. So I'm not even worried about that anymore. He is superhuman.
And then somebody's asking, you can answer this one: Godwin before Pollard.
Pollard, I mean, look, Pollard's good, but is he ever really going to be a workhorse back? No, is he ever going to be like a guy with a top running back ceiling? I mean, he was great this year, and even with Zeke, you know, he got a lot of run, but are we really going to see him better next year for any reason? I don't think so. I mean, look, I am always going to err on the side of taking that receiver most of the time this year. So, look, Godwin is a stud. He's proven that he is now back fully healthy, putting up bigger numbers than Pollard has. So yeah, I'm gonna take him. And I still got Derrick Henry. All right, there goes Mahomes.
There goes Mahomes, first QB off the board. All right.
Let's see if we get another running back here from. Yes, we do.
Calvin Ridley.
Calvin Ridley, 3rd round. Young Money was waiting for that pick. Young Money was waiting for Ridley.
I can wait on that.
Of course, no surprises here with your picks because everybody can see your queue and
I know. All right, I'll go team old guys. Let's go team old guys.
All right,
team old guys here.
Old, but so good. Yep, knew it.
What's up, Hazelnut? Young Money saying he was waiting on Ridley, super high on him this year. David Price asking about Zach Charbonnet. I got to be honest, I haven't started diving into the rookies yet. Like, man, during the season, we're just so busy. I don't even have time to barely pay attention to the rookies. But I do know he's definitely a guy that I think is going to be up there as far as running backs go. But
yeah, same exactly like you said. Is one downside to doing what we do now is not that much time to go into the college, even watch college or follow that because we're doing fantasy every day throughout the whole season. I know Charbonnet is going to be up there, like Jahmyr Gibbs, and of course Bijan. Like, you know, he'll be one of the top 5 backs, I'm sure. Once I kind of break him down a little farther, then see what you think. Am I pulling the trigger on him in this draft? No, I don't think I'm going any rookie. But look, I will be doing this also, especially this year. You know, the draft class is supposed to be a little better for running back than it was last year. Last year really only had 2 guys. One of them would have been a league winner. Of course, he got hurt, Breece Hall, and then Kenneth Walker, who was a stud, and then just kind of some guys. I think we're going to see more depth in this year's class. So I'm going to be getting more rookie running backs and waiting on a lot of those veteran running backs, which is why I'm going wide receiver early. All right, what'd you do?
I went QB early. Jalen Hurts. I'm locking up that stud QB, especially like in a 0 running back draft like this. I'm locking up that stud QB.
Hey, we talked about that. Things, you know, you don't want to do is be like last year, left holding the bag on quarterback and get one of those late round quarterbacks who winds up basically dragging your team down, right? We thought Stafford and Brady and those guys are going to be safe picks last year. No.
Yeah. So what do we, JJS 333? I like that 333. What do we think about Olave next season?
Well, once again, we have no idea who the quarterback's going to be. I'm a little worried because I don't see the Saints. I mean, obviously they're not a team right now that has the capital to get a stud rookie, you know, at quarterback. I don't know if they have what it takes to pull a big free agent, somebody significant who will really help the team. I don't think we see another year of Andy Dalton. I don't know if we see Jameis Winston. It seemed like just a weird lost season for him. So I'm a little concerned that we really don't know at all what the direction is of this team. We know the same coaching staff. I mean, I like Olave in general. I just feel like he's not going to reach his ceiling just yet next year.
Yeah, I like Olave. I think we'll see. I think he'll take a step forward next year. Year 2 isn't necessarily the year where guys necessarily reach, apart from like the elite guys. But I mean, you look at like, Devonta Smith had a nice year 2. Amon-Ra had a nice year 2. But like the guys that really like typically jump into that upper echelon are the year 3 guys. But I still like Olave. I mean, I think he'll be like a solid wide receiver 2.
Yeah, and that's exactly right, Hazel. That's pretty much what we're saying. Like, he's great. Situation isn't right now great. I don't think Jameis is a guy they're really going to kind of hitch their wagon to. So,
yeah. And Jesus asking about Breece Hall. This is a big question. How do we feel about him coming off ACL?
You got to be worried, right? He's just not going to be 100% himself until at least mid-season, maybe late season. I just don't know. I don't know if I can, put too much trust in it. We got burned by Saquon, right, 2 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, on the plus side, he's young and he's good, but so was Saquon. And I'm pretty sure he just had a straight ACL, unlike Javonte, who had a multi-ligament, which is going to be tougher to come back from. But you still have to worry that he may not be at his full potential next year. Definitely.
Yeah, got to be worried. All right.
Alex asking, so Pierre is pick 3, I am pick 10. Yeah, Devonta Smith is a stud. He was one of my favorite guys. I was telling people, way undervalued last year. He smashed. Unfortunately, I mean, even I don't think he'll be as undervalued this year, but still, probably going too low, honestly. Yeah, we're not ready to take Pittman in the early 3rd again until we know what's going on there with the quarterback situation for sure. What about Hopkins? Because I was thinking about Hopkins when I took Keenan Allen, but there's some uncertainty here about where are we going to see Hopkins next year, and what's that situation going to be like?
Yeah, that's funny. I was just looking at the board here, and I'm thinking about Hollywood Brown. Look, he might be the only guy there, right? Zach Ertz working his way back from multiple ligament tear. If Hopkins is gone, Marquise Brown becomes interesting, but I'm a little worried because Kyler Murray is also coming off injury. Who knows what's going to happen there? Hopkins, well, I worry that it's going to be a team like Baltimore. You know what I mean? A team where probably looking like it's not going to be, Lamar Jackson there anymore. So, he's going to go to a team. What kind of a team is going to really pull the trigger to make a deal to get Hopkins? A team that feels like it desperately needs a wide receiver, a stud wide receiver, right? And a team that is good enough to compete. Obviously, there's a lot of bad teams that don't have good wide receivers, but a team, and to me, Baltimore sticks out. Unless there's like a swap where a guy like, Deontay Johnson, like he's unhappy, he wants out. Apparently, that's what people think. They're going to make a swap there so that they get something back. I don't know. There's a lot of unknowns here. But I worry that Hopkins is now going to find himself in a worse situation for fantasy.
Yeah.
We did talk about him, right? In our videos coming out soon.
Yes. Next week, we do talk about him in a video. It's hard to imagine him going to a better situation unless like the Chiefs. But even it doesn't seem like that would be a Chiefs thing to do because they had Tyreek Hill and they were willing to just, trade him. So are they really going to go out and now trade for a 31-year-old wide receiver? I don't know.
Chiefs? I mean, look, people say, why would the Chiefs? Yeah, the Chiefs are the market because Juju could walk, right? Free agent. Obviously, Sky Moore didn't stand out, as a rookie. MVS is whatever. He's just there. That would be great. But again, I have no idea what's going to happen as of right now. So I'm not going to assume that's what he's going to land in, like the perfect situation.
Yeah. And then Isaac saying he feels like Carr might end up at the Saints. That actually makes some sense.
Look, that would make me feel pretty good about Olave, because at least he's got a competent veteran quarterback who knows how to get his wideouts the ball. He's not captain check down. He's not a guy who's going to, be just dumping it off to the running backs. I think Carr would be fine for Olave. I mean, look, he was fine for Devontae Adams.
Yeah, I agree. Saying Nate is making gambles. Yeah, Nate's Addison, depending on landing spot, that could be good. Hazelnut saying loss in the Superflex Championship is 2 QBs were Mahomes and Rodgers. And and Minshew, the crazy thing is Minshew and Mike White didn't even do anything in championship week. I know, because I started them against Pierre in a Superflex league. I started that exact combo.
That's true. But look, Rodgers didn't do any more than Minshew, so that's the problem. Is Rodgers is toast. Like, if he comes back, no interest. Did Hawk already go? He's saying, let's see, an early Hawk. I'm not even paying attention.
He already went. He was at the 4-8.
Yeah.
Man.
Andrea took him at the 4th. I mean, look, he's in a good situation. He's a top tight end. We're not going tight end probably super early if it's not Kelsey.
No.
All right, so you're up. Who'd you got? You don't have a running back yet? How am I not surprised? I can't believe some of the running backs that are still left.
I know, but
one in particular.
Do I gamble on him bouncing back next year? Or do I just
you got 8 seconds to decide.
Oh, you know what? I'm just going to go full 0 RB. Let's do it.
Wow. Committed. I like it. Look, how many running backs are left? You might as well at this point. That's crazy. I mean, I know there's an endgame draft, but man, look, and I'm not like a Chubb lover, but in the 5th round, Nick Chubb, I can't pass Nick Chubb on the 5th round.
No, that's ridiculous. Nick Chubb in the 5th round is absolutely absurd. Justin Fields are the 3rd or 4th round too high? It depends. I like where he went in this draft. I like him there at the 5-6. I like him. I mean, depending on what happens with Lamar next year, where he goes, I probably like Fields. Like, he'd be my QB 5 or 6.
I mean, he's shown that he can be a guy who wins weeks and has that high ceiling to be a top 5 quarterback. So you cannot complain about taking him in the 3rd or 4th round if you think. And here's the other thing. I think it's you have to assume the Bears have got to do something, right, at receiver. So assuming they pull in somebody, right, somebody that, you can definitely feel better.
I mean, does it even matter? We saw this year with like no receivers, no nothing.
Yeah.
What he does with his legs is just,
Oh, and I'm up. Let's see. All right, so I think now I can say this qualifies as an elite quarterback, because goodbye Joe Lombardi. Justin Herbert will have a real offensive coordinator going to take the leash off and let him loose. So there you go.
Yeah, you got to feel good about Lombardi.
Andrea says needs everyone's opinion because talking about Hawk, she's the one who pulled the trigger there on Hawk. Got Eckler and Swift. All right, I know you crushed you to not take Swift there.
I thought about it. I thought about it, but I mean, this
Well,
is
you
a
did.
3 wide
You stuck
receiver,
to
1
your guns.
flex.
Samuel Evans, Lockett. What do you think of that team?
Which team were we looking at?
Team 5, Andrea.
Team 5. Eckler, that's good. Debo, fine there. Evans, a little worried about Evans because not sure about Brady. But even with Brady, what are we really expecting? So I'm a little nervous about Evans. I'll be honest with that. Hawkinson, I like Hawkinson. I'm just not going tight end that early personally this year for me. But I think Hawkinson will be fine. I think he'll be good. Be like a top 3 tight end. Lockett there, good. Swift, totally worth the gamble at the 6'8". So I think overall it's a good team. It's a good team.
Yeah, very good. No holes at all. Like Tyler Lockett's going to get slept on again next year. And, Gino's probably coming back, and he was fine for his numbers.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm guessing Gino's coming back. Even if they draft a QB, it'll probably be Gino to start. Yeah. So worst case, you're looking at like Gino getting benched, and then they go to the rookie.
Exactly. All right, my guy time. I'm taking Treylon Burks. Even with Tannehill, he was still good.
What do I got here? How many wide receivers do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, if I was going like true zero RB, like this was a real draft, I would still be drafting wide receivers here. But
hey, no one's stopping you. You still can.
That's true. I don't really know our best value picks yet this year because I haven't. This is the first draft. I don't really know where guys are getting taken yet.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know how other people. That's the thing with value; it's all relative. You don't know how other people are going to value them, and who's going to be left. So you'll see our best value picks in the next probably 3-4 rounds. You'll see who we pick that's left. But also, you have to realize the rankings are all whacked, and there is no ADP yet. So guys will fall just because people don't see them on the list. Keith says he's a fan of Hawk this year. Looked better than Detroit, that's for sure. Definitely was used more. Detroit has a bad habit of underusing their good players.
Yeah. The problem here at wide receivers, there's nobody really. I love any of these wide receivers, so.
Running back time.
Yeah. Let's see. All right. Uh-oh. My time out here. My computer.
Come on.
Oh no.
Yes, of all the people, he gets Zeke. That's Carvin. That's what the.
I was taking Miles Sanders. Not taking Zeke.
Hey, Zeke wasn't too bad this year.
He was terrible.
You're on auto too. I think it put you to auto.
Oh yeah, so I got to go on my phone to fix that, right? Come on, Zeke was terrible this year. How do I get to this?
He looked a little better after the bye week.
All right.
Henry's wondering who to draft first between Jamal Williams or Swift.
I think you still got to go Swift.
Yeah.
I think you got to believe in the talent and that he can come back.
Look, touchdown regression happens to even the best. So don't think we can expect Jamal Williams to score 18 touchdowns or whatever again. I mean,
No.
look, supposedly, if you're,
Ugh.
going to buy into that whole narrative thing, Swift is ready for next season. He's going to have all off season to be healthy and not hurt. And so, yeah, we'll see. There goes my boy Cam Akers.
I was actually going to take him
as your first. Oh, your second running back, I guess. You got Sanders. So. Hey,
I was actually going to take I was actually going to take Cam Akers there if you felt me.
Cook. I'll say your guy's still out there.
Which one? Rachaad White?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if he's still your guy for next season or that was just this season.
Yeah, I don't know how good I could feel about Rachaad White going in next season. Probably no Brady. Who knows what's going to that offense? The reason I like Rachaad White this year is because Brady. But look, Brady was not Brady this year. He had a Big Ben level ADOT, right? He had ranked 32nd among all quarterbacks in ADOT. That's average depth of target. That means every pass was just ding, 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 right? That's why Mike Evans wasn't very good. I mean, look, yeah, Mike Evans takes some of the blame, but it's hard when your quarterback's ADOT is that low and you're a guy like Mike Evans. We don't know who the quarterback is going to be. It's not like they're going to have a high draft pick to go out and get like one of the stud rookies. Yeah.
Right.
Not feeling good about that offense next year as I did this year.
Yeah, that was kind of the appeal that Rachaad White might be like the James White of that offense, except better as a runner. He was good in spots. He looked good, and he could be a guy who's a feature back if Lenny wasn't there. But yeah, that offense has some issues.
Like even last night, like so the first series, first play, they hand it off, Micah Parsons blows it up. Okay, fine. They go 3 and out. Next series, Leonard Fournette looks terrible. They go 3 and out. Next series, Rachaad White comes in, rips off like a 10-yard run, does like another 6-yard run. Then they just don't run the ball the rest of the drive, and Brady throws that terrible interception in the end zone because they just don't run the ball. And then they go back to Fournette. It's like, why? Why are you going back and forth like that? Like, they can't get in any rhythm. They don't even try to run the ball. Who knows what it's going to be like next year?
Yeah. Tampa all of a sudden had a lot of question marks.
Yeah, a lot of question marks in Tampa.
Oh, very crafty. I had Bateman in my queue, but I didn't think he would go yet, so I waited too long.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about Bateman right now. I mean, obviously, a lot's gonna come down to Lamar and what happens there, right?
Yeah, I mean, I love Bateman himself, and he'll be fine, be healthy. But yeah, if Lamar's not there and who's their quarterback, if it's Tyler Huntley, I can't be drafting Bateman.
No, no, not if it's Tyler Huntley. No way.
Nope. And it makes sense, and you see based on the type of backup quarterbacks that they have, it's like a system that if it's not Lamar, it's like it has to be a quarterback who can run the ball, right? They can't just get like a Jimmy G or a pocket passer. They need that threat because they don't have the personnel to be a pass first team. So what are the options there? If it's not Lamar, who else could they even get that's available, that would fill that role? I don't even know.
Yeah, they'd have to. I mean, well, that's the other thing. Will Greg Roman be back? Maybe they'll bring in a whole new OC. Maybe they'll run a whole new system. I mean, they need to. This whole, lean on the running game, which when I say lean on the running game, I mean a combination of Dobbins, Gus Edwards, and Lamar Jackson, right? It's not like they just lean on Dobbins or something. Lean on the running game, lean on the defense. keep it ugly and try to win ugly. That just doesn't like. Yeah, you can make it to the playoffs like that. Maybe you can get by the first round like that. But what are you going to do when you play the Bengals, which we saw what happened there? Although the Bengals didn't have a great offensive game, or the Bills, or the Chiefs. Like, what are you going to do when you play those teams and you're down? They've put up like 30 points on you, and you can't come back. You can't come back. It's like we used to see this with the Titans, because they would just. It's like, fine, you can lean on Derrick Henry all season long. You can beat up on the bad teams with Derrick Henry. Maybe you can win against a 6 or 7 seed, or like a lower seed in the playoffs. But once you play those elite teams and you need to score points, you can't win. You can't just win because you have a running back. It just doesn't work anymore. This isn't the 80s. You can't win that way.
Exactly. There's plenty of offenses that can come back and pass it on you. This defense, Ravens defense, got much better and was really good in the second half. It's not the 2000 Baltimore Ravens defense.
No.
They cannot just shut down teams at will. So, they're going to need to find a passing game. Yeah, I was wondering that. I mean, I don't want to throw this out here. People watching, it doesn't matter. It's just a mock. Kyle Pitts, nobody wants to touch him, right? Who wants to be the guy?
Has he even been drafted yet? This is crazy.
No, he's still out there. That's what I'm saying is nobody wants to be the one who gets him.
I guess everybody has seen our video and they're like, well, Travis Kelce is gone. I'm just going to punt. And like the last round is just going to be all tight ends. All the tight ends in the last round, I guess.
Look, there goes Schultz, just as we talk about it. Of course, Schultz had a nice game last night, but you don't know if he's going to be in Dallas next year. That's the problem. Kmet went before Schultz, before Pitts, and before Waller, before everybody else. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I like Kmet, but I don't know if I like him that much. I'm not quite that high on Kmet.
Yeah, I think he's fine as a late tight end, but that's probably not late enough. All right. Whoa. No hesitation. You like A.J. Dillon?
A.J. Dillon at the 9-10? Yeah, all day. Whether it's
without Aaron
Rodgers
or not. I mean, if it's Jordan Love, offense probably doesn't change too much.
I mean, the offense wasn't even good this year. Like, even with Aaron Rodgers, how good that offense wasn't any good. They were another team that just, leaned on the defense and tried to win ugly, just low-scoring games. So.
All right. Got a second quarterback here. CJ Stroud. I mean,
Wow.
Look, you got
All right.
Josh Allen. You probably don't need another quarterback.
Brock Purdy. Did we just get a Brock Purdy pick?
Brock Purdy. All right. Let me start listing off the quarterbacks still on the board, just for reference. Kyler Murray. Okay, fine. Russell Wilson. Okay, fine. Tom Brady. Tua. All question marks here. Kirk Cousins. Trey Lance. Obviously, you think Brock Purdy's going to get the job there. Daniel Jones. Deshaun Watson. Derek Carr. Geno Smith. Jared Goff. Take any of those guys over Purdy?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I'd take almost all of them over Purdy.
I mean, even if Purdy's handed the job, look, he was really good in real life. He's been really good, but in fantasy, he just doesn't have that. You know what I mean? That elite.
Yeah. Not only that, we're still not even sure he's going to be the starter next year.
No, we are not.
And I will say, one of the few times I agree with Big Lenny. I mean, this is complete disrespect to Kyle Pitts. Like, complete disrespect right now to Kyle Pitts going on in this draft. I almost took him there just to have him as like a flex, just because it was like he shouldn't be falling this far. I almost just took him.
Well, I'll tell you, he's not going to get out of this round. I'll just tell you that.
And then, of course, we knew Nate was going to. I'm not taking him. I'm not. We just did this with J.K. Dobbins, multi-ligament ACL tear. We're gonna do this again with Javonte now, and not only that, like, he's on the we don't even know what this offense is gonna look like next year. Is it like suddenly gonna get better? Is Russ gonna like drink the fountain of youth and like become good again? I
Yeah.
can avoid Javonte this year. It's fine. I like him 2020. Like, what did I say about Dobbins? Avoiding him in 2022, all over him in 2023. Javonte Williams, I'm going to avoid him in 2023. I'll be all over him in 2024.
Yeah, Dobbins did go. Where did Dobbins go? Dobbins went in the 7th round.
I was going to take Dobbins, but Nate took him, of course. So, but I was going to take him if he was there. I would be fine with in a 0 running back build like this. I'd be totally fine with Dobbins as my RB1. Totally fine with that.
Yeah. And to the crib, I don't know. You know who that is on here or if on the Discord, but you're definitely listening to the broadcast, listening to the stream, because every time we talk about a guy, he gets taken. So, and he already had Dalton Schultz. He's going double tight end, taking Kyle Pitts. All right, that's fine.
What's up,
You know
Roberto?
what? I actually feel better about this tight end.
Yeah, Evan Ingram. I like Ingram.
What is up,
Going
Roberto?
next year for sure.
Nate is all in on Tua. I think Nate's now a bigger Tua fan than I am. I think because he got him from me in the Dynasty League, and now he's taking him here when I don't even think I could take him right now.
Yeah, so crib is there you go. There you go. You were right. He's on the
Oh,
screen.
it's you. Okay, Chris. Yeah, well, you clearly are on here.
And look at that. He went back-to-back tight ends, Schultz and Pitts.
Well, look, somebody gave you a shout out earlier saying they thought your team was the best. So
I don't. Oh, Crib taking Crib's team.
Yeah, somebody said they like Crib's team the best. I mean, you got Mixon in round 6. You got Justin Fields in 5. That's pretty good. You got Schultz and Pitts. The wide receivers, look, you got Lane. If Watson is, half of what he was during that stretch, sure. But Watson at number 2 and then Juju at number 3, not a little iffy on the wide receivers for me.
How about this one from Co Blue? Pitts in the 10th is a good spot. I wish I drafted OJ Howard there in 2019 instead of in the 5th. Wow, we're going to OJ Howard. That's funny because OJ Howard, man, there was so much hype for OJ Howard back in the day.
That's funny. Well, that's not a favorable comp if you're saying Pitts is the next OJ Howard.
Yeah, that's not a good comp, but I think he's better than OJ Howard.
Yeah, I think it's too early. Too early to go there. All right, what's up, Nate? Got 10 seconds. All right, DJ Chark.
How many rounds is this draft, by the way? All right, we got 3 more picks. 3 more picks.
3 more picks. All right. Gotta dig for the sleepers here. Yeah, I think I'm digging too deep. I just saw Ted Ginn.
That's probably a little too deep. Ted Ginn.
All right. A guy I like. They get a new quarterback, a good quarterback.
Zay Jones is going to be interesting. What's his role going to be with Calvin Ridley there now?
Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like he might kind of become like relegated to like Tyler Boyd status. Like he shows up once in a while, but he's not going to be dependable because he's number 3 guy.
Yeah.
Money, that kills me. And I didn't think anybody would be on Zamir White. I should have known. I waited too long. Man, that one hurts. Roberto's getting spicy. Looking for the Kenny Golladay bounce back.
Golladay bounce back year for sure. For sure.
All right. Do we talk this one, Isaac? Which free agent running backs would you want to see on certain teams?
I mean,
I'd like to see Damian Harris go somewhere that he can get more touches.
Yeah, I definitely would like to see that. I'd like to see Saquon back in New York. I'd like to see Jacobs back with the Raiders. Like when you have really good stud running backs like that, you just want them to stay where they're at. So like, okay, we know what we're getting, right? You don't really want them to change teams. I mean, I would love it if Kareem Hunt got signed as a workhorse running back, but I just don't think it's going to happen. Like, he's 28. Didn't really show a lot this year.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If Josh Jacobs does go anywhere else, I mean, it could be Zeus's backfield. That's what I'm counting on. This is exactly what I was going to say too, Nate, on the Chargers to get that change of pace running back for the, for Spell Eckler, get those goal line touches. That would be nice. There you go. Spoke it into existence.
I like that. I like that Nico Collins pick. I like that pick.
Just needs a quarterback.
You got to think that they're going to get one. Either Stroud or Young. You got to think, right?
You definitely would think so. I mean, I don't know. Probably would be Young.
I mean, look, teams do stuff that shock us all the time in the draft, but you got to think because they have the number 2 pick, right?
Yes.
So you got to think they're going to get one of those guys.
Well, look, if the Bears are smart, they'll trade down and get more assets. If not, you think they're not taking a quarterback, so they could have their pick.
Right, they could either pick or just get, whichever one they like better or whichever one's left. Or if they really are worried about it, they could always trade up with the Bears. But the Bears are in a good spot. Bears are in a really good spot going into next year, right? They got the number 1 pick. They don't need a quarterback. They're going to have like 3 or 4 teams probably bidding, competing to move up for that number 1 pick. They got $100 million in cap. I mean, the Bears, don't sleep on the Bears next year.
It's true. It's true.
That Brian team has a fever, and the only prescription is more rookies.
Or I'm looking for rookies right now, but I can't. And you got to really get low to find them. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I.
He's just saying rumors of Lamar being traded to the Pats. Well, he's technically a free agent this year, but I just don't see the Patriots
putting up big money for a free agent.
I mean, I could see him putting up big money for a quarterback, but is Lamar like could I mean, I don't know. Maybe Keith or Nate, some of our New England kind of guys. Like, do you feel like Lamar is a Bill Belichick QB? Like, is that really okay, so Nate chiming in. He could get tagged and traded. That is true. But do you really feel like Lamar is a Bill Belichick QB, like the kind of guy he would want?
He seems to have a type, and I don't know if Lamar is it.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know if Lamar is a I don't know. Maybe.
All right, last round. Let's see.
So Keith is saying Bill B did want Lamar. I mean, he's definitely an upgrade over Mac Jones. That's not saying much, but Lamar is definitely an upgrade over Mac Jones.
Yeah, that's not saying too much, but I see what I hear. I hear you. I wonder what they will do. I mean, Mac Jones doesn't seem to be it, but are they really going to move on already? I don't think so. I don't think they're ready for that.
Yeah, I mean, but maybe they would for a guy like Lamar.
And none of these picks are very exciting. There we go.
Wandale.
Upside, pure upside. Hopefully he recovers. Oh, okay. Happy to oblige. I'm sure you sniped me on somebody. You sniped me on Bateman, I guess.
I think the only snipe I had, I think Young Money. Yeah, I was gonna take Diggs if Diggs was still there over Kelsey. I think that was it.
Oh, good. I was able to snipe Young Money too. Because you took Zamir. Like, I'll trade you straight up. Zamir for Wandale.
Do we think Kenneth Walker is a first rounder?
I don't think he's like consensus first rounder. I think there will be some drafts, especially, where people like to follow trends and running backs start to go off the board early. I can see some people taking him in the first round, but I don't think it'll be, every draft that he'll be a first rounder.
I think one thing we're going to see this year is more, even in non-end game drafts. Obviously, end game drafts go very wide receiver heavy, but even in non-end game drafts, I think we are going to see more wide receivers going earlier after how terrible running backs were this year. So I think he's probably going to be more like a second rounder, probably where I feel like he'll go.
Yeah, more early second. And look, recency bias, it happens right now. Everyone's, kind of discussing with Jonathan Taylor because he didn't help you win and he was the number one pick. But by the time we get closer, like in August, like people will realize, okay, especially if the Colts actually get a real quarterback and then you get that fixed, I think that people will put Jonathan Taylor back, as a top 5 running back everywhere.
Yes.
Saquon should be high, I think higher than Kenneth Walker. He should have been the first rounder. Yeah, it depends.
I would honestly take Bijan over Kenneth Walker. I just am.
Yeah, maybe.
Bijan is better, and he's a better pass catcher.
Right, but of course, it depends where he winds up.
I don't even care. Like, remember Breece Hall last year? Real quick before we asked the chat. So, by the way, in the chat, we're not going to do any grading. We're going to ask the chat. Tell us what teams you like or don't like, or what picks you like. Let us know in the chat if you like some picks or you like some teams, or if it's your team, tell us your team's the best, whatever. But remember last year, we were saying Breece Hall doesn't matter. He goes to the Jets. Everybody's like, they already have Michael Carter. And we're saying doesn't matter. I had Breece Hall in my top 10. The whole, once he was drafted, I had Breece Hall in my top 10. I said he's going to take it over eventually, and he did. And Bijan is a better prospect than Breece Hall in every way. In every way, he's a better prospect than Breece Hall. I don't care where Bijan gets drafted. People are all worried about, hopefully he doesn't go here. It doesn't matter. He's going to go somewhere. He's going to take the backfield over, and he's going to be a beast. He's just that good. So,
yeah, here's the thing. Guess what? He's going to go to a team that wants him. Whoever picks him, they're not going to pick him to put him behind whoever. Like, yeah, maybe the first game or two he won't be the official starter, but team that drafts him, even if it's not in the first round, it's because they know that he could be their future, right? Just everything back. So he's going to get used. He's going to be the focal point of that running game and that offense wherever he goes. So, yeah, you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, and he probably will be a first rounder. And any team using a first round pick on a running back isn't going to have him sitting behind some crusty veteran or some, fourth round rookie who everybody thinks was like awesome this year or whatever. So Chesburgers is saying CD going before Tyreek with the sad face. Yeah. I mean, I like CD, but not over Tyreek.
Yeah. And that's nothing against CD. It's more just we've seen what Tyreek Hill can do. So, yeah. Probably swap those guys.
Here's a shocking one. Young Money likes his team a lot. What are our thoughts?
Let's see. Money's team. Okay, so went Diggs, Sun God, Ridley. All right, so look to see if Ridley balls out. If he's, what we think he could be. My other thing with Ridley is because they do have. Well, I'm not like I'm worried about Zay Jones, but Kirk, gets a lot of targets. Ingram gets a lot of targets. They spread the ball around quite a bit. Ridley. Is he going to reach the heights that he did in Atlanta? I think he definitely could. Third round is a little early for me, but I know you wanted him, so you got him. Andrews, Aaron Jones, Mitchell, McKinnon. It's interesting. He almost did like an anchor RB, but he waited on Jones because those other pieces, like, are we counting on Mitchell or McKinnon and Zeus to even, play enough to be startable in a fantasy lineup?
Yeah, definitely going to be a little struggle at the RB2 to start the year. I like those first. What is that? How many picks is that? 5, 6. I mean, I like Trevor Lawrence, but I don't know if I like Trevor Lawrence more than say was that? Let me look at the board. I'm looking at the actual board, so I don't say something dumb. Yeah, okay. I don't know if I like Lawrence more than Herbert, Lamar, or Prescott, but I do like Herbert. I think he'll be fine. I think he'll be good. I just think I probably prefer those QBs a little more. Yeah, I think that after that, it gets a little dicey, that back half there, but hey, still a good team. Still a good team.
Yeah, very early. We don't know how things are going to shake out. I mean, if Zamir White's the starter in Las Vegas, then yeah, you got a stud there. Let's see.
Hey, you'll like this one.
I hope so. Look, he could be if we just guarantee that he does not get concussed. That's
the thing, man. It's just ugh. How about this one from Sober Money asking Calvin Ridley for the 2.05 Superflex PPR rebuild team? Well, see, before you said rebuild, I would say I might still do this. I feel like Calvin Ridley is worth more than the 2.05.
Yeah, for a second round pick, I would, and especially if it's a super flex league, I'll take Calvin Ridley. I mean, rebuilds or not, Ridley is kind of like in the middle, right? He's technically in or just past his prime, 28.
He's like in. He's got. I mean, it depends. I mean, we've seen guys like Adams and Hopkins still be great into their 30s. Julio, but like early 30s, right? But those are like elite wide receivers. Are we sure Ridley's an elite wide receiver, or is he just like a very good wide receiver? But I still think for the 2.05, that's good value.
Yeah. Look, are you pretty confident that with a mid-second round pick, you're going to get a guy who can be as good as Calvin Ridley? No. Give me the proven player. You know what I mean? For that. First round pick may be different, but let's see. Nate, pretty confident here. Loving his team. Let's see his team again. Got CMC. Oh, that's pretty good. And then those receivers, somebody said something about like risk. I don't think those receivers are risky. I mean, Pittman has got to do better. You know, Metcalf will kind of be, it's a little early for Metcalf because I think at this point, especially we know it's probably going to be Geno Smith, a quarterback again, like he is what he is, which is good. But right now, he's a guy who I don't think is necessarily a wide receiver one in fantasy. But based on the receivers that were left, he probably was the best one left. Pittman, Judy, I think Judy will be better next year. Talent-wise, he has one of the most talented wide receiver rooms. It's just the situations haven't been great. But I like the comeback picks with Bateman and Mooney. I think those are smart picks late. Jordan Addison, of course, could be just a stud in year one, depending where he goes. So I do like your team.
Yeah, and Keith agrees. He says it's between you and Nate for the championship based off the draft board.
Yeah, I feel like once again I played it a little safer than I wanted to because it's just a mock. But when Derrick Henry falls in the 3rd round, I'm not going to pass him up. When Nick Chubb falls the 5th round, I'm not going to pass him up. Justin Herbert, I think that's a fine place for him based on the quarterbacks that were there. I didn't want to be left waiting, and taking a chance on whoever was after him. And went with some youth later, some upside, got some rookies there. So this is the fun part where you can take rookies with absolutely no regard for anything. You have no idea where they're going to play.
Honestly, we should screenshot this and then after the draft, see how all these rookies that you thought some of the rookies that you thought were like, yeah, I'm not touching that rookie will be drafted, and some of the rookies you're like, oh, that's such good value for him. You're like, I don't know, right?
Yeah, because 90% of the rookies right now, you'd like, oh, this guy could, and then half of them bust.
Yeah, or they go to or they go somewhere terrible. Chris is asking, rate my team.
Okay, so that's 2 to Crib.
Yeah, I know he was sniping you there.
Well, like I said, running back, you're great, you're loaded. Getting Mixon in round 6, I'm not sure how he fell that far.
I didn't take him at the 6'3". That's why.
I thought you were going to. I
really was. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to pull the trigger on Mixon here. But I wanted to try out I wanted to try out a 0 RB draft to start the year. I mean, look, if I can do a 0 RB draft and get Miles Sanders, James Cook, AJ Dillon, Khalil Herbert, Foreman, and Damian Harris, I'm fine with that because at least 2 of those guys are going to give me, solid points every week, if not upside. So I wanted to try it out. But yeah, I mean, the pick at the 6'3" was Joe Mixon for sure.
Yeah. And again, it's just the time to play around with things, right?
Yeah.
My only concern with your team is, again, I think Watson, it's worth the gamble where you took him. I mean, I'd rather have him probably than DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, you could have played it safer with a guy like DJ Moore. I'm fine with Watson there because of the upside. Then Juju, super sketchy. And then you waited, and of course you took 2 tight ends just to have one. That's fine. It's just the depth at receiver is a little sketchy because Zay Jones now going to take a step back with Ridley there. I like the Hodgins pick. I'm not going to lie. I had him queued up too. But, I don't know if you can trust him as a wide receiver 3. So I think it's a pretty solid team. Lots of upside.
Yeah, I think I would have liked maybe instead of Pacheco. I mean, I don't know. Let me look on the board here. 8 sets, so we're going this way. I mean, maybe like a Bateman or a Mooney or even one of the rookies if you're into that. Just because you already had Barkley, Pollard, and Mixon, you really didn't need a 4th running back. Especially, I think this is your first time drafting with us, Chris. This is a 2 running back, 3 wide receiver, 1 flex league. So, Pacheco not really going to be playing for you very much in theory. So I think I probably would have liked another wide receiver there. But overall, I think it's a good team.
Yeah, no, very good.
And then
so Nate, best pick, biggest reach.
All right, well, let's see. Let me look at this for a second here. I mean, I Is it? I think it might be. I have to be. I mean, it might have to be between Henry or Chubb. Maybe even Swift, like one of those guys for me. But like getting Henry at the 3-3, that's ridiculous. Getting Chubb at the 5-3, that's ridiculous. So those picks, I mean, they're both your picks, but those are both to me are just great picks there.
Yeah. There's a lot of value running back here. Look, I'll say I'll go over, give a shout out to Colts, Celts, Yanks, I guess, fan. Got some really good value at running back. Didn't really go full like zero RB, but I like Dameon Pierce in round 6. Like, we forgot about Dameon Pierce because he didn't play the end of the season, but he was a workhorse. Should be in a better situation next year, right? That offense should improve with a quarterback. I mean, he was good. He just wore down and got hurt. So I like Dameon Pierce at the 6 and then Cam Akers at the 8. I think that's really good value there. And if you're going to wait on running back for the most part, I think that's a good way to do it. Biggest reach? What do you think biggest reach? Probably got to be Ramondre.
Yeah, I think Ramondre's a reach there. I was gonna say you again with Godwin. I just really don't like Godwin there. I mean, well, here's my thing with Godwin. So I mean, I just gave you props for two of the best picks in the entire draft. So but here's my worry with Godwin. Number one, he was just a low ADOT target monster with a guy who couldn't throw the ball deep anymore, hardly ever. Right? I mean, even last night, 10 catches for 80. Mike Evans had almost as many yards as Chris Godwin on half the catches. Like, he's just which is fine. Like, that's fine in PPR because it gives you that high floor, but we don't know about Brady. Godwin's technically a free agent. We don't know where he's going to be next year. I'm not like down on Chris Godwin. I just think at that point of the draft, I feel like it's a little too early for Chris Godwin. I don't know if it's the biggest reach, but I was kind of surprised with that pick for you. I was surprised with that pick. But I definitely think Ramondre is a reach.
Yeah, and obviously Money agrees. Well, thinking about it, I mean, I don't think I wouldn't take Cooper or Mike Williams or probably Pittman over Godwin. DK, maybe. Garrett Wilson might have been a smarter pick.
Yeah.
So more upside
there. I would probably go Cooper over Godwin personally, just because we did see some signs towards the end that maybe Deshaun Watson was starting to knock the rust off. Now he's going to, second year in that system, a full off season. I think they'll be better. But yeah, I think Garrett Wilson probably a better pick there. Trying to look at what I think some other reaches are here in this draft. I mean, Brock Purdy, CJ Stroud.
Purdy. Yeah, Purdy is a little... people get a little overboard.
Yeah.
And then Money says Mike Williams and Cooper, both those picks.
Yeah, I don't know. I like Amari Cooper. I mean, look, also you got to think about it like this is an end game draft. So, you say like what was Cooper here? He was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I mean, he was drafted as a wide receiver 16. Like you know what I mean? Because that's just how end game drafts go. And I do think Mike Williams, maybe I was a little surprised by Mike Williams. Although maybe with Lombardi gone, they'll open up that offense more next year with whoever they bring in. That'll help them. Not that I don't like Mike Williams, but yeah.
If like you said, if they trade Keenan Allen, all of a sudden Mike Williams is your wide receiver 1 there in an open offense. So that could be a difference maker. But of course, we don't know that's going to happen.
And then Big Lenny stopping by after that playoff disappointment last night. Doesn't get to wear, shouldn't be allowed to wear that. I don't know if you guys saw. This obviously is not really Leonard Fournette, obviously. But anyway, I don't know if you guys saw, like, before the game, he had his Big Lenny sweatshirt on. I'm like, you don't get to wear that sweatshirt. Or playoff Lenny sweatshirt on, I mean. I'm like, you don't get to wear that. You were not playoff Lenny last night. You were terrible. But anyways, he's saying if he'd gone DK over Jacobs and then Chubb over DJ. I agree with Chubb over DJ more. But I'm fine with Jacobs at the 2, whatever that is. I mean, like, unless the Raiders let him walk and he goes somewhere terrible, I mean,
That's the
I'm fine with
question. You got to wonder, are the Raiders going to pay up to keep him? I mean, based on what he did, they should, right? I mean, why would they let him go? And then that's the case. The only worry is this guy who's not going to be playing for a contract. He's going to be a guy who's playing with a contract, and that does change things. But yeah, I think Jacobs is still fine there. I don't think that's a reach.
Yeah, I think you're fine. Andrea saying it was first time drafting. Appreciate it. Hopefully you can join us again. Slayer, I like you. Saying he likes Colts and C Mango. Appreciate it.
That's you. And then Brian wants to know thoughts about his team at the 8. So
at the 8.
All right. So a lot of people had a lot of thoughts on that team because you went Kenneth Walker first. Look, I don't think some people think that it might be a reach. I don't think it's a reach to take him there. I would have taken Saquon over him, but I think that's okay. Bijan, not going to argue with that at all. Now, if you got 2 running backs, you don't need a third that early. And especially you got 2 stud running backs, we're assuming. So that I think that definitely takes a big chunk out of your grade.
Yeah, Brian, not sure if this is your first draft with us, but I probably should have said this in the beginning or posted it in the chat. It's a 2 running back, 3 wide receiver, 1 flex PPR format. So, I mean, yeah, you can start those 3 running backs. That's great. But now you're looking at, Juju, Quentin Johnson, and Jamison Williams as your 3 wide receivers. Yeah, it's, with Mechie and, there's a lot of risk at the wide receiver position. And you have to start 3, which, could make it very, very difficult there. So that's why, Brian wins. If it's Dynasty, you crushed us for sure. If it's Dynasty, you crushed us.
That's what I was thinking. I mean, yeah, it's look, in Dynasty, even if you have that kind of team,
that's a great team. That's not Juju, that's Jackson Smith. Okay, yeah, but even still, I don't know why I thought that said J. Smith Schuster. Because this is J. Smith, but I missed the N. But still, very risky at wide receiver. Like, very risky. Now it's extremely risky.
Yeah, even riskier. I mean, yeah. So basically, in the 3rd round there, you did need Etienne because you don't want to have to flex a running back in a full PPR league, and you really didn't need a 3rd running back when you already got 2. So that could have been any wide receiver like Olave. If you want to stay young, you could have got Olave. That would have been a great pick. If you want somebody reliable, go Keenan Allen. And then you take one of those running wide receivers like a Johnson or Smith and Jigba, but you don't need both. So yeah, for a redraft, when this is redraft, a little too young.
Yeah. And going back, Keith said Chubb best value, Ramondre biggest reach, and then Mixon gets the silver for best value. I agree. All right, we get a little dap from Nate saying we both made the finals. And I think, it was pretty crazy. Like, you and I were either playing each other or in every endgame finals. So that was kind of cool. I guess maybe it was cool for us, maybe not for everybody else. I don't know.
Well, and here's the thing. Absolutely to follow that up. Yes, Killer.
Sorry.
Getting in the mocks. We're going to have a lot of endgame leagues, like actual leagues. Yeah. We're going to have as many as we can fill, probably. We won't be both in all of them because this is not possible. But there'll be some where it's me, some where it's Chris. There'll be probably our main one, at least the King, and if not, maybe, in the Dynasty, a couple where it's both of us. But yeah, so far we had 4 leagues, went really well, and it was active. People traded. Everyone was on waivers. Very competitive. Came down to the end. You didn't know. Nobody ran away with it. So yeah, if we were doing our job, then everyone's going to catch up to us and then pass us by, and then we're going to be sad because we're going to not be in the finals of every year. I'm just a little sad. Look, the 2 leagues that I won out of those 4, I think were the ones that were the lowest payouts. There was the one that was actually 0, right? It was a free league. And then the Pawn League, which I didn't get much for. But oh well, that's all right.
Big Lenny, since he's going to retire and just be playing fantasy next year, are we Diggs over AJB? How we feel? Who we
I think you have to be.
Yeah, I think you still got to be Diggs over AJ Brown. I mean, Dynasty, AJ Brown over Diggs. Redraft, Diggs over AJ Brown.
Yeah, in Dynasty, go AJ Brown just because of the age. But yeah, it's got to be Diggs.
Yeah, and then I mean, I agree there. Well, Diggs over CD for me for sure. AJ Brown and CD are close for me. They're close for me. I think my top 5, if we're just talking wide receivers, Jefferson, Chase. I probably have Tyreek over Kupp, but I probably go Tyreek, then Kupp, then Diggs, and then you can debate CD and AJ Brown at the 6-7 there.
I think you got to keep Devontae pretty close up there too. I think
Don't
actually
feed the trolls, Nate. Don't feed the trolls.
No, don't feed the troll.
You got to keep who up there?
It was Devontae. It wasn't like a super value because you got him, early second round. But to get him in the second round is still really good because you got Kelsey and Adams. I think that start.
Yeah, I'd probably have him right after. I'd probably have him right at CD, AJ Brown, Devontae. Like to me, that those first 5 guys are like in their own tier. Like those are like the 5 guys that have a clear path where you could say this guy could finish as the number 1 wide receiver. And then you have guys like CD, AJ Brown, Devontae. Maybe not as clear as a path, but the possibility is there if things break right, if they score a bunch of touchdowns or whatever. So I'd probably have those guys in the next tier.
Well, and this is a good time to mention because just yesterday updated the rankings for draft rankings for 2023. It's on the page for patrons. So if you really want to draft already, if you want to check out, this is kind of a guide. I had this in mind, even though the sleeper rankings aren't updated, obviously. I fresh off of doing it, so I have in my mind where I have these guys ranked. Of course, a lot of it's going to change, a lot. But for now, it's a good guide, based on what we do know, what we think is going to happen too. And I threw rookies in there, just because.
Yeah. And then these guys would probably be my next tier. They'd be in my next tier of wide receivers. How do you feel about Higgins versus Amon-Ra? He is just a slot guy.
Well, he is a slot guy, which is good for him. But look, I think I'd go Higgins over Amon-Ra just because he's tied to the better quarterback, the better system. He's a guy who can at times be the number 1 in that offense, even with Jamar Chase there. As you've seen, there's been games where he outpaced Chase, so you can't worry about that. Amon-Ra is solid, right? He's very solid in full PPR. He's more consistent probably than Higgins, but I think Higgins give you that good kind of volatility where he can have those huge games.
Yeah, I probably have Higgins again, these would be probably my next tier of guys after that. CD, Brown, Adams. And I'd probably favor Higgins slightly over Amon-Ra, but yeah, we're probably splitting hairs there. Then Nate asking, better chance him winning an endgame league next year or Maher making his next PAT? Here's the thing. I don't think there's any chance he makes his next. Can the Cowboys really let him kick an extra point? Can you really let him even kick?
That's so weird too, because he was one of the better kickers of the whole season. But isn't that what always happens, right? The guys who are amazing all season and all of a sudden the playoffs come. I don't know if we have any Vikings fans, old Vikings fans in the house, but remember Gary Anderson, who's a Hall of Fame kicker, right? He didn't miss a kick all season until the NFC Championship game.
And that team was loaded. That Vikings team, that's one of the best teams to ever win a Super Bowl for sure.
So exactly.
And also,
I'll go with you, Nate. I'll go with Nate.
Yeah, I'll go with you because at least your chance is better than 0. It's probably way better. It's probably way better than 0. But I also heard him on the broadcast. They said last night he missed his only extra point in Week 18. So he hasn't made an extra point in 2 straight games, and he's had 5 attempts now. You cannot let this guy. like they have to go sign a kicker, right? Like they have to just find a kicker on the streets and sign him, don't they? At least just to make extra points. Like there's got to be a kicker on the street.
Guy off the street.
Like I don't know. I don't know kickers, but there's only 32 teams. There's got to be a kicker who kicked last year, who's not in the league right now, who can just come in and make extra points. There's got to be.
Yeah, they'd probably get him like a shrink or something and have him, do some psychotherapy for a week and get his head straight and put him out there again. But chances are they'll go for 2 if they can afford to.
Yeah. Because they got away with that last night because it was it was the Bucks, but against San Francisco, you're going to need every point. You're going to need every point against San Fran. You can't give away 4 points and expect to beat them.
Yeah, well, this is true. All right, next draft. When are we putting that draft out? To be determined.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't want to commit. I don't want to commit yet.
All right. So there you go. So the easiest thing to do is for some reason, anybody who is watching here isn't already subscribed. You hit subscribe and notification bell. Then you'll know as soon as we go live, it'll pop on and you'll know. And then hopefully get a chance to jump in. If you didn't get to draft tonight and you wanted to, we'll try to post the link. Of course, if you're in the Discord, that also definitely helps your chances because you'll know everyone will be talking about it and then you'll see the links there too. All right. So also, videos, 2023 draft videos. They're coming almost every day. So check it out. We talked last week about guys who are skyrocketing. Coming up is Panic, everyone's favorite.
Yes.
All right. We'll see you guys next time.
See you guys.